Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live, April 2021, with the theme, A Walk in the Fog. Good evening, everyone. Now, before we begin, first I'd like to thank all of you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers. It's unbelievable. I'd also want to thank my patrons and donators for their continued support. There's over 1,200 of you and still growing. I've also turned on YouTube memberships. This feature allows me to keep ads disabled on all of my videos, and it will also allow me to switch the chat to members only during the trance. I've seen that there's already 5 of you subscribed to the YouTube memberships. Thank you so much. I remember that right now it doesn't have many benefits, and that's quite alright. I still appreciate it immensely. Of course, I am unable to chat because I am using the mic. However, I do read the chat continuously. So hello, everyone. Now, as always, the recording will be on the site with the background music and maybe 1 or 2 cuts if I make mistakes. Such things happen because this is live and everything is improvised. Now, for those of you who are new, the way this works is first we have the introduction where we will also discuss the theme. Then we will start the trance at about 1/4 past, and after the trance there's a brief pause with which we will also start the Q&A. Now, as always, participation is up to you. Themes alternate between gentle and kinky. This month is a gentle file. And welcome, Jezebel. So what happens is I will take your suggestions. And welcome, Coda, with your first live. Hello, everyone. There's too many of you to mention. I'm sorry. Oh, that actually reminds me. Some people have asked me why I don't show a list of all my patron supporters and all my YouTube supporters and my donators and stuff. And the reason why is that my channel is a erotic hypnosis channel, and as such, privacy is more important. So I will not provide a list of names of everyone that supports me because most people do so in private, and I want to respect that. You can always see the numbers, but I will not give any details. I'm very transparent about things like that, and I'm also very clear about being careful with people's privacy. Let me see. Now, tonight's theme is a walk in the fog. Oh, I'm forgetting one other thing. Any one of you that uses the visuals, they were recently updated with 2 very important features. When you're now watching a visual or going to the link of a visual, you will first see a screen explaining the visual and showing the list of words that is there. This screen also includes a standard warning for those who are sensitive to flashing images. And it will allow you to safely click on the link without being tricked any which way. Yeah, it has been a busy month. Sorry about the snap. Now let us actually discuss the theme, a walk in the fog. What kind of things do you imagine? What kind of things do you think or feel or hear in the fog? Which feelings? A foggy forest, errands, eerie. I like the word eerie. The smell of wet leaves. Surprises. Voices in the fog. Feeling alone. Feeling alone. Owls. Feeling of being watched. Very humid. Misty. The fog could go from cold to warm. A muted sound, that's also a very good one. Lost and confused. Lost and confused. Puddles of water. A presence that shouldn't be there. Presence. Puddles, muffled. I like the word muffled as well. It's a good word. It sounds like the intention is slightly claustrophobic. I'll be careful with that one. An Easter egg in today's story. Guided. Guided to safety. And of course, indeed, a foggy brain. Mysterious whispers. I'm doing my best to write as fast as I can. Oh, that's cool. The fog sneaking up. So suddenly, why does fog suddenly appear? I'm sure there's some creatures that would cause fog to suddenly appear. Actually, in the fog, I don't think there's any bird song whatsoever. Most birds tend to be very quiet, same as crickets. Foggy bunnies. Tar vampires. Oh, welcome, Gamer Cat, to being a volunteer. I wasn't expecting things like that to happen. I almost feel like we're on a Twitch chat. If anyone has ever seen a Twitch chat, like half of the chat is like, welcome this for this many months of subscription. I'm probably not going to do that. This is new for me as well. Lost, have we seen this before? I kind of like that one as well. One of the things I also like about fog is that the sun is, even when it's the middle of the day, is just sort of a hazy light in the distance. And the thicker the fog, the emptier the mind. And indeed, sometimes there can be a single ray of light Maybe it's the one that's leading you, guiding you. Then again, the fog may be playing games. I've seen multiple people mentioning different things. City, fog, forests, a valley, is the fog an entity? A siren song? Alright, I think I have enough. The page is quite full. Lost sense of time. Oh, come on. For some reason, the headphone wire is being very stubborn. There we go. Well, I haven't quite decided yet if the fog will be like nice or not. But we will see. Where can I place this there? All right. Ooh, I definitely want to write down fireflies. As you would not believe your eyes if 10,000 fireflies, or 10 million even, lit up the world as you fell asleep. All right, so please get ready. Get into a nice, comfortable position. Headphones are highly recommended. Lay down and relax. Hey, is everyone ready? And participation during the trance is indeed not an obligation. Do it at your own pace, or if you don't want to participate, simply wait until the trance has passed. You can see it because the spiral will disappear in the background. I will also switch the chat, and I hope you all have fun. And let me see, I think that works. Yes, it has. Very good. I still have to get used to all of this, and with YouTube being as it is, I don't always trust it to behave. It wouldn't be the first time that YouTube is doing something it's not supposed to. Fortunately, today everything appears to be going according to plan, as far as there is a plan. I mean, this is improvisation after all. All right, let's begin. Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live, a walk in the fog. This file is sort of mysterious, drifty, ethereal like fog can be. If you get lost in the fog, you will be missed. Now imagine for a moment that you're walking in a familiar place. As you look around, you can easily recognize where you are. Close your eyes and imagine. Imagine walking in this familiar place. Every part of you present in that moment. You know the sounds, you know the sights, you know the feelings. You are so familiar with this location, with this simple sensation that you almost don't notice when the world around you begins to turn gray. Fog can roll in silently, almost unnoticed, until the haze, that simple, blurry outline of lights and colors, begins to be more obvious. But by then, if you were to look around, many of the familiar shapes are already disappearing into the hazy gray of the fog. But there's a sound, a feeling carried with this fog. Something familiar, something that allows you to feel that this is an opening, a doorway, an introduction into a beautiful new experience. If you continue to walk, the light before you slowly changes. Wherever the sun was before, it is slowly shifting until it is almost straight ahead of you. If you didn't look to the side, you could almost imagine being in a tunnel of infinite length, of a beautiful, soft, gray-white sheen all around. And in fact, when you look to the side, you might have even noticed subtle changes. Walls where there were none before, brick and street lights. Even though the sun in a distance denotes the time of day, you can imagine some lights around you as you continue to walk. The fog itself has some very strange effects on the world. It is subtly moist, almost clammy, a bit eerie in its simple discomfort. These tiny drops in the air, each one of them distorting both the light, the sounds, the sensation. It's as if the whole world is muted, muffled, drifting further and further away. I wonder if you're shrinking, or if the world around you is drifting into the distance. The sun is still there, far ahead of you, a vague, blurry point of light, while around you walls and edges are not what they are supposed to be. The deeper you drift into the fog, the more foggy your mind becomes, the more your thoughts will be mist and dissipate into nothingness. Your footsteps are the only sound there. It is a feeling of loneliness, and yet you're not alone. There is a comfort in the soft white-gray blanket around you. And while you are aware of the strangely eerie circumstance, you also know that the deeper you go, the safer you'll be. While the sounds themselves haven't really changed, the texture of the air is slowly morphing into something else. Dark shadows slowly appear as you head forward. Giant shapes that stretch up high, getting thicker and thicker the closer you are, until you realize they are merely trees. Every now and then a single ray of light pierces through the fog, creating a blinding flash of color and a strangely vivid scent of the location. Wet leaves, moist bark. The forest around you is old and comfortable. The ground is soft with moss and leaves. Each step has a curious texture and sensation as your feet sink ever so slightly into it. Somewhere in the distance, to the side, it's almost as if there is a presence. Is it someone else lost in the mist? Is it a creature trying to find you? Is it simply an echo, a reflection of your own journey? Here in the forest of fog, as you continue to walk, there is also some new sounds. While you initially thought it no more than the simple rustling of the leaves, there are whispers in the air, soft words, stories, and strange phrases. They don't appear to make any sense. It's almost as if you're listening into the thoughts of other people, completely out of context, and unable to piece together any kind of semblance of reason. It is both fascinating and slightly unsettling, perhaps. But the path is clear, the destination in the distance ever forward. The rays of the sun fade back into the fog every time you continue to walk. Sometimes it is a blinding stream of light, a ray that travels directly into your vision. But as soon as you blink, it is gone, and you are asked, without a single word, to continue to walk in the fog. As the mist gets thicker again, your mind slips away deeper and deeper. The trees pass you by and disappear into the distance. When you look around, it is as if they were never there. But before you there are new shapes being born in the fog. Almost from nothing, you slowly begin to observe arches. You see old stones, ruined pillars, broken walls. You are walking in time, a strange location that feels incredibly old, thousands of years at least. Here there are different whispers in the sounds. In the distance, just on the edge of hearing, you can hear music. Instruments that are not as common anymore, sound of singing, strange words, maybe even a language you wouldn't recognize anymore. This time, while you do not notice any presence around you, there's a distinct sensation that something, someone, is watching you travel, following each step, gazing at you as you slowly pass by. As you travel through these layers of fog, you also have the wonderful experience of drifting deeper. Below your feet, there is grass, sometimes a puddle, most of the time just slightly soggy footsteps. The stone of the ruins has been left far behind, as you have a feeling of expanse, of immense space all around you. You can hear the sound of water not too far from here. Perhaps a river or a stream. The ground slopes slightly. In the distance is still the sun, and there's a subtle difference in the fog far away, as if on the left and the right there are mountains towering beside you. Deeper and deeper you walk. The soft sense of grass beneath you slowly changes as you continue to travel through the valley. there is something ahead of you now. The light of the sun has something else with it, a sound. It is almost as of someone singing, a voice which could be female or something else entirely. The song feels magical. They are words that your conscious mind does not recognize, but there is a pull forward. Beneath you are waves. Your footsteps appear to be standing on water as if it was as solid as the ground. The waves are slowly moving, but it is as if they're also frozen whenever you look down. Before you there's a formation of rocks with a strange illusion upon it that is singing. The closer you get, the more you want to get there. But as soon as you get close enough to make out anything in the fog, it dissipates. Was it only an illusion? But the rocks that you are passing by are not. As you continue to travel forward, the light slowly dims. The sun ahead of you appears to be setting. The color shift is subtle. There is only the slightest hint of orange and yellows as it slowly, lazily drifts across the horizon. The thick fog around you is still guiding you, but slowly you are noticing other small pieces of light, little flickering, drifting, fluttering lights all around you, like a dance of fireflies that slowly circles and spirals ahead of you, creating a corridor of light for you to travel to, a drifting experience as you're almost pulled, falling forwards, noticing the spiral getting faster and faster, the light streaming you by as if you're traveling through the stars, and another step and a blink, and it's all gone. There is still fog in your mind, a drifting blankness. In a moment, when I count you back up and wake you, the journey might have seemed unreal. Then again, you can never be sure what is real in the fog. I hope you didn't accidentally leave some of your thoughts behind, because they will be missed and dissipate. 1, 2, slowly waking. 3, 4, more aware. 5, 6, almost there. 7, 8, almost awake, and 9, 10, awake. And let yourself walk back to awareness and take a moment to appreciate the vivid colors of reality. Welcome back. Now then, let me switch the chat back. There we go. And then, yes. Take your time. If all is well, the chat should be functional again for everyone. And you're very welcome. It was a lot of fun. A very strange sort of feeling, but also a very good one. And that was 21 minutes long. Yeah, that's what you get when you have shortcut keys that you can very easily press. Fortunately, I know where they are. And then there we go. And yes, I know. I wrote that sentence down like at the beginning. If you get lost in the fog, you will be missed. And yes, I used it multiple times. It was too good of a comment not to make. Anyway, it is time for the Q&A. And don't worry about getting out of trance. The thing is, it works as fractionation as well. Badumts. Unless you're kinky, then it's BDSMs. And thank you, Luna. Dragon Rider asks, what did you have for dinner? I had meatloaf for dinner, together with a bagel. And a banana later as dessert. Annelie de Fair asks, what is it you like so much about puns? It is playing with words. Mastermind asks, do you think more carefully about your dinner before a live? Because you know that we will surely ask, what was for dinner? No. Pip asks, have you ever heard of the game Terraria? Yes, I've played many, many, many hours of Terraria, although not recently. I played it long before 1.0. I kind of should do it again. But it's one of those games that I've played Terraria and Starbound quite a bit. Rex asks, what games have you been playing lately? Well, Risk of Rain had a new update, or Risk of Rain 2. I've been playing some other roguelites like Gunfire Reborn and Dreamscaper. Eternal Fantasy asks, have you had the chocolate sprinkles on toast, and if so, did you like it? I grew up with chocolate sprinkles on toast, or actually just chocolate sprinkles on normal bread. On toast, they're less nice, because toast is warm and it melts the chocolate. Delta asks, what do you think about poetry slams? Well, people shouldn't be so aggressive. I actually generally like poetry executions. Dragon Rider asks, have you played Phasmophobia? I have. Katie asks, what is a disgusting food you can't get enough of? I mean, get enough of? I like peanut butter, but I know not everyone else does. However, I don't like American peanut butter. Sariana asks, would you mind to read the following out aloud for all of us? It's just a hop to the left and hide an egg to the right. Put your paws in the grass and dance around like wild. But it's the evil laugh that really drives us insane. Let's do the bunny hop again. I think that's let's do the time warp again. I didn't recognize the reference until too late. Poetry executions. I didn't notice that one, I'm sorry. Eternal Fancy asks, what's the difference in Eternal Fancy asks, what's the difference in peanut butter? Well, in most of Europe, peanut butter is peanuts, maybe oil and salt. And you can even get peanut butter, which is literally just peanuts. So it has one ingredient with a maximum of 3. Pip asks, what would be something you can't survive without? Water. Luna Hermans asks, what is your favorite movie at this moment? Favorite movie? I don't know. I watched some very weird is... Oh, Only the Fair asks, do you have a favorite poem? I quite like the rhythm of the Raven from Edgar Allan Poe. Eternal Fantasy asks, did you get a metronome yet? No. And no, I haven't tried hummus. We don't eat patrons. Katie asks, how would you combine a dog and a cat? Carefully. Jezebel asks, would you quote a line or two from The Raven? Well, there's the obvious start. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, as I stood there nearly napping, suddenly there came a rapping, as if someone gently tapping on my chamber door. 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Hillybee asks, do you position your chair so that the antennae on the butterfly logo appear to come out of your head? No, this is just like how it happens. Morgully asks, I wonder what kind of induction you could do with a metronome. Well, so things like clockwork, but also the interruption of metronomes could be very fun. Eyelet Sucker asks, Do you know any more poems by heart? Well, I know quite a few lyrics by heart, and I think most of you know lyrics from songs by heart. So knowing pieces of a poem by heart is not that strange. At some point in time, I knew most of the V speech by heart as well. Voila, in view a vaudevillian veteran cast vicariously by as both victim and villain by the vicissitudes of fate. Mastermind asks, are there chocolate Easter eggs in the Netherlands, or are they not famous like in the US? Well, Easter is a European holiday that drifted to the US. And Dragon Rider asks, tell us your most cringiest joke. That would probably be the light bulb. How many psychiatrists do you need to change a light bulb? Only one, but the light bulb has to want to change. Eternal Fantasy asks, any funny / interesting stories? Well, quite a lot, but not really here. You're very welcome, Jezebel. Androvus asks, when you started out doing erotic hypnosis online, did it weird you out when strangers started letting you know quite vividly or explicitly how they responded, and how did you deal with that? Well, so first and foremost, I am a nerd. I do not mind when people tell me like intimate things, because to me that is not different from not intimate things. So if someone shares with me that the effect of my files has been highly pleasurable and enjoyable, my inner thought is like, that's nice. The more weird thing is when I realized later that I could do a rough estimate of how many orgasms I've caused, and that the number was significantly higher than I would ever have considered. I am also reading, sorry, I'm also quickly reading all the things that people have been saying since. There's a graph somewhere on the Discord channel which shows the number of orgasms over time. Katie asks, favorite yogurt flavor? Plain, because you can combine it with anything. And yeah, like, so for data nerds, there's so I don't actually look at that graph the whole time. I would have to quickly look that up, and that would be currently about 750,000. Which is a insane number. Dragon Rider asks, I am making a painting for you and I want to send it, but how do I send it to you? I have a PO box, and my assistant will helpfully share the link to the contact page where you can also see the PO box information. By the way, if you send something to my PO box, if it is something like a package, please be careful and give me a tracking link. Not every like post company delivers to PO boxes, and having a tracking link helps a lot. And fortunately, like, the way I've impacted lives has been very positive in many ways. So counting orgasms has been a very silly thing that that someone asked, and as a nerd I was like, okay, how did that work? Delin asks, when you started out, did you know that your files and voice would have the effects that they do on us? No. I'm still making this because I enjoy making it, not like for any particular reason to make money or fame or anything like that. Lost Peanut asks, do you ever feel overwhelmed by how long your future hypno file list is? No. A reddish light on my face. Oh, strange. Luna Herbens mentions Now You See Me, which are indeed very silly movies with some very fake hypnosis, but it's enjoyable. Like, they're amazing popcorn movies, but not realistic. Andrews asks, when recording normal files, do you tend to plan more or less than lives? It varies a little bit. Oh, by the way, as opposed to like last live I had like the lights that I have on the sides, like they were very blue and kind of too much. So I'm experimenting with a bit of protection from the light, but maybe the protection is a bit too strong. So let's see if this is better. So, anyway, Becca Rose asks, so you have a robot, snake, evil, and dragon voice. Is there any new voices that you came up with? We'll have to see. Bogdan the Lurker asks, if you had to live out in the wilderness, what biome would you choose? Temperate, tropical, etc.? Oh, definitely temperate. I don't think I would enjoy tropical. I would probably prefer to live somewhere like cold and then have a nice warm house, because winter is beautiful. Sorry. Dragon voice. Coda asks, favorite recent song? I don't know. Dragon Rider asks, would you rather have a unicorn or a dragon, but both would be captured? So if you look into lore, unicorns tend to be way more dangerous than dragons in a certain way. So I would probably prefer a dragon. Nadine asks, could you say something for the littles? Ah, hush now, little ones. Sleepy Doll asks, favorite Queen song? I am quite partial to The Show Must Go On. I also know the song by heart. Bohemian Rhapsody is amazing, but The Show Must Go On is also really special. Plus, The Show Must Go On has a really amazing piece of lyric, which is, my soul is painted like the wings of butterflies. Fairy tales of yesterday will grow but never die. I can fly, my friends. Androvas asks, do you have a favorite game genre and what do you like about it? Probably platforming. I grew up on Mario, and Mario 64 still has a special place in my heart. A Hat in Time was an amazing experience. It's like a modern Mario. It's so good. Official Moose asked, is there a song that wider society loves but you can't stand? Or conversely, a song that is widely reviled that you love? Well, anything by Justin Bieber or One Direction I don't care about. There's actually lots of music I don't care about. And a song that is widely reviled, but I love. I mean, there's, I think, my most common answer to like what is my guilty pleasure in music would be Party in the USA. Although I must say, like, Shake It Off is also like a very good one. Especially when performed by The Rock. And yes, playing Unraveled 2, being able to carry around the other player is adorable. Jay Gatos asks, favorite portrait world from Mario 64? Ooh. Well, probably is it Dire Docks? The first water world, not the Bowser one. It also has amazing music. Andrews asks, as a non-native English speaker, do you have a preference for British or American English? My accent sort of fluctuates. As for spelling, I probably do more American for consistency. Katie asks, how do Dutch people dry their dishes? Either with a dish rack or a washcloth. Yoey asks, would you rather live in a spacious treehouse or a fortress in a sprawling cave? Ooh, that is a tough one. I would probably say fortress in a sprawling cave. It seems more structurally sound. Eternal Fancy asks, have you ever tried speedrunning a game? Actually, I have. There is a free-to-play game where one of the achievements requires you to speedrun it. And I forgot what the name of the game is, but it is I think it's called Refunct. It's really cute and a really sweet experience. Dragon Rider asks, would you rather be a singer or a guitar player? You'll get famous either way. Sing. Dragon Rider asks, have you ever played Beat Saber? No, I have not. Laura Roberts asks, favorite Shakespeare play? Probably Macbeth. Delta asks, do you have a preferred video game soundtrack to have on while being productive? So this varies strongly. Last Friday, I put on the soundtrack to... what game was that? It wasn't Fez. It was a new retro wave soundtrack. Nadine asks, if you could swim with dolphins or go shark diving, which would you pick? Dolphins. Easy. I don't want to be bitten by sharks. Katie asks, what is your favorite healthy snack? Favorite is an apple. Good apples, like a bit of sweet sour with a good crunchy bite. I've also listened to the Ori soundtracks. And, of course, Madeline, which is... Oh, come on, Iris, help me out here. Happy Easter, by the way. Oh, come on, I'm going to be so upset with me when I... Celeste, thank you, Iris. I knew that you would get it. Celeste has an amazing soundtrack. Britt asks, have you ever tried playing games in VR? I have. Annalise de Fair asks, do you celebrate Easter? Only a tiny bit. The reason I knew that... Anyway, Dragon Rider asks, Have you ever watched Tokyo Ghoul? I have a little bit. I didn't really get into it. The last anime I watched was actually The Mage's Bride. I believe that there's a longer name, but I keep forgetting it. The Ancient Mage's Bride, something like that. Dragon Rider asks, have you ever broken a bone? I have not, and I'm very happy. Iris asks, do you know of any other emotionally impactful games like Celeste was, or others that got to you? Oh yes, I know quite a few games. The Beginner's Guide is a game I highly recommend. Another one is a Whirlwind Heist. I don't remember what the full name is. Gone Home is also a really beautiful game. There's various different games. Some of the walking simulators are surprisingly impressive. As for games where it's so tightly woven into the gameplay, probably Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Dragon Rider asks, have you ever played Detroit Become Human? And I probably won't play it. Luna Hermans asks, why do you snap with your fingers in an induction? To emphasize. And indeed, Bloodlines, Team Malkavians, also the whole... So both the Haunted House and the House of the Malkavian are really interesting. There's a lot of other games that I think are like really worth playing. Ooh, the Red Strings Club. And as for games where the gameplay and the story are completely intertwined, Braid. And Dr. Langeskov the Tiger and the Cursed Emerald, a Whirlwind Heist. That is indeed the game. Dragon Rider asks, have you ever watched War of the Worlds? I have gone to a performance of War of the Worlds, a live performance. And indeed, the Red Strings Club also has a stunning soundtrack. What was the game with the New Retrowave Samurai? That was a very interesting, difficult game with a really interesting story. Katie asks, do you have any allergies? I do not. Dragon Rider asks, have you ever watched Ninja Sex Party? Yes, I'm very familiar with Ninja Sex Party and with Starbound. It's not Ghost Runner and it's also not Fury. It is Katana Zero. Ghost Runner's story is actually not that impressive, but it is a very fun game. Also, a game that surprised me with its story is Jenny Leclue Detective Who, which the weird thing is, it's like a children's game, like a children's point and click puzzle game, but the story isn't. Iris asks, does it frustrate you when someone fakes being hypnotized and you don't catch on? It doesn't really frustrate me as much as I find it a pity. Like, if you fake trance, you're not helping the hypnotist to make a better trance for you. Becca Rose asks, what is your favorite type of humor? Wordplay. Generally like wordplay and clever things. Dragon Rider asks, can you tell us one of your dark jokes, if you have any? Well, how many psychiatrists do you need to change a light bulb? Eternal Fantasy asks, what is one personality trait you honor a lot? Respect. Both respect for yourself and also respect for others. It's very important to be to treat others as you would want to be treated. Or even better said, treat others as you think they would like to be treated. But while it is very simple, it's not easy to do in practice. Dragon Rider asks, do you believe AI will take over the world someday? It's inevitable. Becca Rose asks, can you say something in Dutch in your snake voice? Let me think for a moment. Er is geen ontsnapping voor jou. Katie asks, have you ever tried Emmentaler cheese and did you like it? Emmentaler cheese, the way you know it, is a weak copy of actual Dutch cheese, which is amazing. Eternal Fancy asked, have you ever had a bad experience at a restaurant? Yes. I've had several bad experiences. But I think the worst one that I remember is a pizzeria place that was so completely meh and horrible that it is one of two places I think that I left a 1-star review. It wasn't just the food either. Even the people who worked there were just so meh, so uninspired, so completely bleh. Casey Serene asks, what is your favorite type of blank face? Dull, fascinated, etc. The one I make you do. Midnight Films asks, have you tried sushi? Maybe once or twice. There is a chain of restaurants of which there are 3 instances in Amsterdam alone that has unlimited sushi, sort of. And it's very good quality sushi and grill. Eternal Fancy asks, what is your take on Twilight? It is really amusing to kind of see what kind of things someone comes up with when they have no idea how things really work. Britt asks, can you say something in Norwegian? The only Norwegian I know, if I remember correctly, because this was a very long time ago, would be Je elsker deg. And you spell it like Jeg elsker deg. Dragon Rider asks, if you were in the Skyrim universe, what would be the first thing you do? Probably shout. Rex asks, are there any questions you're sick of answering? Yes, I do have a good memory. Nadine asks, kannst du etwas in Deutsch sagen? Yes, I can. Dragon Rider asks, what color are your eyes? Blue, green, gray. Jay asks, if you could wake up tomorrow having gained any skill or ability, what would it be? Well, it depends. See, if we're talking mutations, I would say Twilight style, not Twilight, Wolverine style regeneration, so that you basically live forever. As for skill or abilities, you should earn them. Dragon Rider asks, if you can be transferred into an android body, would you do it? I don't know. I'd be skeptical that the me in the android body wouldn't be me. Like, I am not in a rush to digitize my mind. I'm fine with digitizing my work. Bogdan the Lurker asks, what fictional world would you love to live in? Star Trek The Next Generation is probably the safest and best world to live in. Dragon Rider asks, if you were in the world of cyberpunk, what would be the first thing you do? Learn to hack. If anyone has played Cyberpunk 2077, hacking is OP. Not just a little, but a lot. It is OP to the point that they nerfed it in the latest patch because they realized that it was a bit too OP. Katie asks, do the Dutch have some magical power to turn into an apple, since Duolingo likes to suggest that being a thing? That and ducks, apparently. Or elephants. Like, why did someone leave an elephant into that room? Jay Gatos asks, what do you value most in a friendship? Communication and honesty. Dragon Rider asks, say the first word that pops into your mind after reading the sentence, ? Mokali asks, if you got to choose any fictional world to put your audience in, what would it be? Obviously Nimja Inc. Mastermind asks, what is the file you made that you are the most proud of? So I am very proud of the Slot series. I am very proud of some recent files. I'm very proud of the hour-long files because they were not easy to do. You try talking for an hour, like talking on purpose for an hour is crazy. De horse, het paard, eet een heilige aardappel. There are two files which are over an hour long. Nadine asks, what are 3 things you value most about a person? Volume, mass, and I would say a presence in time. Dragon Rider asks, would you rather live in a castle or in a normal house, but both are extremely haunted? Actually, speaking of, I am very, very surprised that Phasmophobia does not have like a giant mansion or a castle yet. But why? It's like, yes, there are houses, but extremely haunted. I wonder what extremely haunted would be. It's like, is that like you're making your breakfast and the ghost is like handing you stuff because you're in such a relationship with a ghost that like the haunting is so normal that it doesn't even faze you anymore? It's like, oh, there's blood on the walls. Well, at least it's vegan. Dragon Rider asks, would you rather be a ninja or a samurai? I'd probably be a samurai, but I wouldn't want to be a ronin. And yes, if you do try to write a resume or a cover letter to Nimja Inc., if there's no wordplay, you're basically automatically rejected. Annalie the Fair asks, who would win in a fight, pirate or ninjas? Well, Dr. McNinja, of course. Let me see. I could love a summer job. I wonder what a summer job at Nimja Inc. would do for your experience, if you would remember it. Now, do man, remember just Sir. Any other title has to be earned. Becca Rose asks, what do you prefer, guinea pigs or hamsters? I prefer experimenting on people. And indeed, I do not answer every question, and it also has to do with the flow or whatever. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions. I cannot answer them all. Sequin asks, roses are red, violets are blue. Do you answer all questions or just a few? There once was a hypnotist online who would answer questions so fine, but there were so many. Damn. I thought I had one, but... Oh, doing a limerick off the top of your head is actually quite difficult. Many questions here. I cannot answer them all, but time will tell me. And I apologize for the bad word. I should not have been trying to compose a limerick on the fly. It would... Brit asks, what would you do if somehow Nimja Inc. has suddenly overtaken the world? Try to do a better job at running it. Sleepy Doll asks, is life a computer simulation? It doesn't matter if it is, because it wouldn't change anything about our current situation. Sachwin? I don't know how I would pronounce it. I apologize. Maybe just Sakin? Casey Serene asks, how teasy are you? Iris asks, what's a productive punishment to give oneself for swearing to break the habit? I would say realization. Pip asks, what do you imagine Nimja Inc. to look like? Well organized, clean and welcoming. Westlake Angel whispers, can you see me? That depends. Are you hiding under a blanket? 10 minutes remaining. Jasmine asks, have you played The Dark Room? I don't think I have. Reginald asks, are you an angel? You must be one. Considering some of the files I've made, I doubt that. Saquin asks, when was the last time you got really angry at someone and what did you do? I spent some time venting my emotions before I dealt with the situation, because being very angry rarely makes the situation better. Okay. Jezebel says, let me actually do this properly. There once was a hypnotist online who would answer questions so fine, but they came so fast he could not outlast more than 90 or 99. Xenix asks, what is your favorite erotica short story that you've written yourself? Probably A Golden Moment. But I have reasons to like them for different reasons, for different, origins. Alet asks, do you sometimes feel uncomfortable because of certain questions or comments? I mean, only one question so far has actually made me feel uncomfortable, and that was during a live light. For the rest, not really. It's fine to ask questions. Aw, Bogdan. There once was a hypnotist online who answered some questions so fine, but there were so many and they came in plenty that he just did not have the time. I'm sorry for slightly changing it because the rhythm otherwise wouldn't have worked. And asks, is there a song that can instantly calm your mind when you're feeling down? I don't know. There are some songs that I enjoy singing for pepping myself up. The original Pokemon theme is one of them, just because it's a very good rhythm. Do 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 do. Laura mentions, a hypnotist, Nimja, by the name of Found Questions, too often said the same. Said he, I'm bored with his dull discourse. Please ask me something less inane. I mean, I'm actually fine with insane questions. Katie asks, has anyone ever asked you not to read out their name during the Q&A when asking a question? If they have, I don't recall. I don't think it has ever happened. Casey Serene asks, what is a question you wish you were asked? See, if I knew that, I would just tell you to ask it. It's more fun to be surprised. Part of this whole, live interaction is that you surprise me. Sleepy Doll asks, which mythical creature do you wish would actually exist? I'm not sure. Most mythical creatures have some very big downside. Mokali asks, anything you're looking forward to in the near future? Nothing specific at the moment. I tend to be busy with my things already, and I'm looking forward to finishing something, but like everyone will find out longer. Angelic Dirt asks, if time is short and long at the same time, what is the color of 2? What is the color 2? Winter sky, obviously. Ooh, this is actually a really good question. Iris asks, is there such a thing as not stable enough to healthily have a kink interaction, and is this often permanent? If it would be permanent, then the kink community would be empty, because everyone in the kink community has a past. Not everyone is broken. Some people are merely cracked, but everyone has a past. Everyone has had intense experiences. And stability comes through practice and experience. So refusing people to practice is an unhealthy way of helping people to grow stronger. Naomi Manders asks, will you ever make a video in Dutch? Well, I have, but I'm probably not going to. The audience is too small. Dragon Rider asks, if you were trapped in the world of phasmophobia, what would you do? Stay in the truck. Yeah, there's no repeats in real life. So if you die... Flora asks, how to accept our submissive side better? That's not something I can answer directly. It has to do with how to accept what you feel like, what you are. Fjuk asks, how can you have the time to like almost every comment, and how can you stay so calm and happy everywhere? By not taking life too seriously. Life is weird. You can't control everything. Trying to control everything is a sure sign into madness. Nadine asks, can we get the evil laugh, please? No. Mwahaha. Bogdan asks, would you love to go into space, or is that too much for you? Oh, I would probably enjoy it a lot. It'd be awesome to see. Casey Serene asks, what made your day awesome? A nice walk after dinner. Sakwin asks, is nihilism the correct way to live? That's up to you. Neighborhood Bisexual asks, can you growl for us? Madame Blackamus Prime asks, how is it that I've just come out of trance? Well, apparently you really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, there's only 2 minutes remaining. Coda asks, what was the setting of your walk? Just trees and grass and stuff. Some water. Becca Rose asks, why you such a tease? Because you like it. Jay asks, do you think being kinky is a type of sexual orientation? No. Being kinky is merely a collective word for a very complex set of interactions that we have, because being kinky is not one thing. I think it is more like being sexually liberated, because to be kinky, you don't need to be into pain or sex or anything like that. Katie asks, how does one earn a forceful massage? I guess you'll have to find out the more hard way. Fjuk asks, why are your streams like a trap? I swear I want to leave, and I don't want to leave, and I zone out because you're spilling facts. Well, don't worry, you'll be released in about 1 minute. Justine asks, hug or spank? That depends on which side is facing me. Angelic Dirt says, knowledge is sexy. I agree. Let's see. Last question. There's actually a few nice questions. Let me see if I can do them really quickly. You are trapped in the world of Portal and you meet GLaDOS. What is the first thing you would ask her. I would try to interact with her on a more intelligent level, see how smart of an AI she really is, and if so, actually respect her for it. Do you think people in Amsterdam tend to be more sexually open than the rest of the world? I think the Netherlands is quite sexually liberated in general. Amsterdam is not really significantly different as far as I am able to tell. Bogdan the Lurker asks, leather or plush? Well, that depends. Are we cuddling or are we doing something else? Casey Sreen asks, what is your favorite way to tease someone? I think I answered that a while ago, didn't I? Marco Lee asks, can we get some words to send us off to sleep? Well, very quickly there will be an end. And Sleepy Doll asks, can this be the last question? Yes. All right. That was a lot of questions all at once. Now, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon and supporting me here on YouTube. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, as I know you've had. And thank you so much for being here and making it an amazing live stream. You are awesome. This was Nimja Live. Wake.